Have you ever really, truly stopped to think about where your energy comes from? Not just the coffee you had this morning, but the fundamental energy that powers your existence. Well, today, we're going to trace one of the most epic stories imaginable. The journey of a single packet of light, from the fiery heart of the sun, all the way into you.
So, let's just start with this question. Right now, as you're listening to me, where does the energy powering your brain, the energy behind your very next thought, actually really come from? The answer isn't simple. It's a 93 million mile long story that starts in a place of unbelievable power.
All right, so let's meet the hero of our story. It's a single, tiny particle of light, a photon, born in a cosmic explosion and sent on an absolutely incredible mission across the solar system.
It all starts right here, deep inside the unimaginable furnace of the sun's core. Under immense pressure and heat, hydrogen atoms are literally crushed together to form helium. This process, nuclear fusion, unleashes a massive burst of energy. And in that exact instant, our photon springs into existence.
And you know what? It does not hang around. The moment it's created, it blasts off at the universal speed limit, the speed of light. We're talking 186,000 miles every single second. It's just mind-bending.
Moving at that insane speed, it crosses the 93 million mile emptiness of space and reaches our planet in just 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Think about that for a second. The sunlight warming your face right now left the sun before you even finished your cup of coffee this morning.
But just getting to Earth isn't the end of its journey. Not even close. In fact, this is where the really magical part begins, the Great Transformation, where pure light gets turned into life itself.
So, after that incredible race across the solar system, our photon's journey comes to a dramatic end. Bam! It slams right into the needle of a blue spruce tree, way up high in the Rocky Mountains.
And that tiny little impact kicks off one of the most important chemical reactions on the entire planet, photosynthesis. This is basically nature's ultimate magic trick. The tree uses our photon's energy to whip up a batch of fuel, sugar, using just water and carbon dioxide from the air.
What's happened here is a fundamental change. The sun's kinetic energy, that's energy in motion, has been captured and converted. It's now trapped inside the chemical bonds of a sugar molecule. It's become stable, stored potential energy. You can think of it as a tiny, perfect biological solar battery.
And now that this little solar battery's all charged up, it's officially in the game. It's part of the ecosystem, ready to be passed up the chain of life, almost like a torch in a relay race.
And here's the path it takes in our story. Step 1, the blue spruce captures that sunlight. Step 2, an elk wanders by and munches on those needles, consuming that stored energy. And then, maybe years later, step 3, a human consumes the elk. The torch has been passed.
Now, here's a super important point. At each step in that chain, most of that original solar energy gets used up, for living. It keeps the elk warm, it powers its muscles to climb a mountain, it fuels its growth. Only a tiny fraction of that energy actually gets stored in its tissue, ready to be passed on to the next link in the chain.
And so, after this long, incredible journey, our photon's energy has reached its final destination. That burst of light from the sun's core is now, and I mean this quite literally, powering your heartbeat or firing the synapse that creates the very thought you're having right now. But wait, the story's still not quite over. Because in nature, all energy is really just borrowed. And eventually, everything has to be returned in one final, crucial handoff. So, in our story, after a long life, the body returns to the Earth through a natural burial. And this is where the ecosystem's cleanup crew, its smallest but arguably most powerful members, get ready to take over.
Let's meet the micro-hunters. We're talking about soil bacteria and fungi. They get to work beginning the process of decomposition. And as they break down those complex tissues one last time, that original solar energy, which has been locked away for so long, is finally released back into the environment, mostly as heat.
This brings us to a really important distinction. The energy's journey is a one-way street. It flows from the sun, gets passed around, and eventually dissipates as heat. It's gone. But the physical matter, the minerals like nitrogen and phosphorus, that stuff gets recycled. It's now free in the soil, ready to nourish a new plant, which will be waiting for the next photon to arrive and start this whole incredible cycle all over again.
So, we followed the path of our little packet of energy.
But how long does this whole process take? Are we talking days, years, centuries? Well, the answer is, it really depends.
This timeline really shows the huge range. If a leaf just falls and decomposes, that energy could be back in the system in a matter of months. But in the story we've been following, where it passes through an elk that lives for a decade and then through a human, well, now we're talking about a journey that spans decades. The average for this kind of mountain ecosystem is about 85 years, and if that energy gets locked up in the wood of a fallen tree, it could be stored there for centuries.
So why does this slow pace matter? Well, it's exactly what makes these huge mountain forests so vital. They act as these incredible long-term storage banks for both carbon and energy, playing a massive role in helping to stabilize our planet's climate.
So let's bring it all home. When you think about it, you're not just powered by the sun. You are, in the most real and literal sense, made of ancient, recycled sunlight that has been flowing and passing through the web of life for billions of years.
Which leaves us with one final awe-inspiring thought. If the very energy that's firing in your brain right now might have taken decades, maybe even a century, to complete its amazing journey from a distant star all the way to you, what incredible thing are you going to do with it today?